O, diba? O, picture taking lang, mga sariling sikap. Hey guys! Mga mams, mga beks, mga beshies, mga dude parichong, it's me, Baby G, here for another throwback Thursday. And for today's video, we're gonna be reacting to my trip to Alaska. This was back in February of 2016, so it was a leap year, so that made it even more memorable. And what I like about it was this was one of my first solo trips in America. And I remember this video with Bea Alonso about how it feels empowering, to do stuff by yourself. So I did feel like a Bea Alonso that time. And so I was able to make memories by myself and prove that, you can do things if you put your mind into it and not rely on anybody for your happiness. So at the end of this video, I'm gonna put in some links, some tips on how to travel by yourself to Alaska, so that once this pandemic is over and you feel like this is something that you'd want to do, you'd be able to go ahead and book your stuff. And I'll put in some links also on the stuff that I use, so you'd be able to recreate my adventure and hopefully go on your own adventure. So here's the video. So this was a part of a multi-leg flight from DC to Seattle. So this is the flight from Seattle to Alaska. Now this is the hotel. Before I knew IHG, so I just searched for the cheapest hotel, because that's what you do if you're flying solo. So I went on a tour with it's an Arctic Circle Drive tour. So this was one of the first stops. It took you along Dalton Highway, which is the northernmost highway in the United States. And they talked about this, the Trans-Alaskan pipeline that gets oil or gas from one point to another. And then this shot is actually from a GoPro from before. I think it's a GoPro 4. Now it's an 8 already. And I was layered up like crazy. I think this was like almost like 4 or 5 layers of clothes, because you're in the hashtag kawalan. So you have to be warm like that. Oh, diba? Oh, picture taking lang, mga sariling sikap. And now this is a picture of me at the Arctic Circle. Oh. Then heading back, it was like a 4-hour drive, like 3-4 hour drive back, until it finally showed up, the Aurora Borealis. So this was a shot from my camera. It's a Sony A5000. You just have to tweak the settings so that you get nice exposure of the light. Yeah, and then this was a shot from the GoPro. It's actually a time lapse, because that's the best way you can see the waving action of the aurora. And yeah, it's just a really amazing feeling seeing it. I was able to visit the North Pole in Alaska. A lot of letters to send to actually get there. And then this was at an ice museum up in Chena. So this was a place where they have like ice sculptures. $15 for an appletini, and you just say yes for the experience, but it wasn't that amazing. So if you're gonna go there, do it for the experience, but if you don't wanna, then just drink at the hotel or somewhere, right? Back modeling. So the contrast between the hot spring and the cold air, you feel relaxed doing it. Then this is me trying to feel cultured, looking at paintings. I think this is the Denali Mountain Range. Then, like I said, the Ice Museum. It's amazing how they are able to, keep it up. And then this was dog sledding with Alaskan Huskies. And they get pretty fast. It's pretty amazing what they can do. Oh my gosh, I remember the dogs like running like crazy. It felt like I was like Balto. So there you have it. It's a quick peek at my Alaskan adventure. Alright, so that was a throwback to my trip to Alaska. Some tips for you to enjoy your travel to Alaska should you go ahead and do it is number one, make sure you look at the aurora forecast. So they have this thing that they call the KP index, which is a scale from like 0 to 9 that would state that what's the likelihood of the aurora showing up. So it's best practice to make sure that you look into it so that you make sure that when you go there, there's a high chance of you seeing the aurora borealis, because that's definitely one thing that you should put in your bucket list. My tip number 2 is if you're gonna rent a car, make sure that it's either an all-wheel drive or that there's a backup camera, because driving in Alaska is not that easy, especially if there are roads that are not treated or not salted or not plowed. So make sure that you have a car that can handle really well. My tip number 3 is a general tip. Make sure that, if you plan on traveling, stick to one kind of hotel brand, because you get to use the perks of getting good deals on rooms and all that. So the time that I went to Alaska, I didn't have my IHG card, so I just booked whatever the cheapest room was. So it was cheap, but it still can get expensive if you're on your own. But if you have a card that would be linked to a hotel, then it's gonna be easier that way. And my last tip for this video is to make sure that you bring the right equipment, because I don't know if it's a once in a lifetime thing to go there, but you want to make the most of your experience. And when you're dealing with cold weather, that makes the battery life of things so much faster. So you have to make sure you have backup batteries, you have your portable chargers, and you have a bag that would keep everything warm. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being with me on this journey in my YouTubing and everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below which part of this video you like the most. Until our next video, so see ya!